welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And today I'm going to talk about something that is a hot topic. And it's a hot topic because it causes a lot of controversy. You've got a lot of people out there that play the victim card, to play the poor me card and act like it's all the ex's fault. And then you've got the other people on the other side of the story that are actually dealing with this problem. And that is when the kids don't want to go to the other parent's house. And what I'm saying here, when you've got two sides of the story, you've got one parent that accuses the other of stopping the kids from going. It's all the other parent's fault. You're holding the kids back. And then you've got the other parent who is just not stepping up. They're not being present in the kids' lives. And the kids are seeing that. And that's why the kids are making this decision. So let's talk about this situation when the kids start to see and start to recognize the behaviors of the other parent and they make the decision that they themselves don't want to go see the other parent. Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in. Now, this topic, it's a really tricky one because really, at the end of the day, all you want for your kids is for them to have a happy, healthy life. But then on the flip side of that, you're co-parenting. You're dealing with someone who is not providing that healthy, happy life for the kids that you're expecting them to. And they're not stepping up. They're not being present. They're not showing that they're available. And as a result, the kids start to see this. They start to see, well, dad's just not there for me. Mum's not stepping up. Whichever parent it is. Now, I'm going to really emphasize this fact here because this comment gets thrown out at me a lot. Because I'm a female, people think that I'm having an attack on men. So please realize or understand that no, I am not having an attack on all men or men in general. This is a gender neutral show where I am focusing on single parents as a whole. So whether you're male, whether you're female, whether you're somewhere in between, wherever you're at, this is for you if you are a single parent and you're going through some single parent struggles. This is not a gender hate show. This is not a blame game show. This is not a victim show. It's an episode or it's a podcast where I provide support and productive feedback to help you get through these challenges, no matter if or where you're at on your journey, or if you're a male, if you're a female, if you're anything else. This is to support everyone and not to point the finger and not to point any blame or play victim mentality. Now, I did want to readdress that because I have mentioned it before, but I did think it was necessary because it does get thrown out there a lot on my social media saying that I'm just hating on men, I'm hating on this. But let's be honest, the people that are saying that are not even reading the caption because there is no hate, there is no judgment, there is no finger pointing in any of my captions, in any of my posts. It's neutral as it can be. And I never address him, her, she, whatever. It's all gender neutral comments. So there are some people out there that are very hurt and they just see that I'm a female and automatically think that I'm attacking men. This is not the case. So if you do know a dad that is out there that is struggling and does need the support, then send them this way because this is for everyone. And I'm not just saying send the females this way because hopefully they already know that, but I'm addressing to send the dads this way because so they know that I'm not just here for just the mums, just the women, just the females. I'm here for everyone as a whole. And yes, I do talk about my experience as a single mum, and I will be mentioning some of my experience in today's episode, but it's not an attack on men as a whole. It's just my personal experience that I'm bringing to the table so you can see that I understand. I've been there. I know what it's like and I've walked in your shoes. When I do talk about my experiences, it's not a way of me playing victim or a way of me to make you feel sorry for me. It's a way for you to well, a way for me to get across that I understand the challenges that you're going through. I understand what it's like, and I understand how to get through it. And that's why I'm here, and that's what I coach single parents through, because I know firsthand how hard it can be when you're co-parenting with someone who just doesn't want to co-parent with you. So what do you do when the kids get to that place where they're starting to put all the pieces of the puzzle together? They're starting to realize, okay, they haven't stepped up for this. They weren't there for this. They haven't made an effort to be here for me for this. And they're starting to realize, well, hold on. They're not present in my life. Kids are not wanting child support payments because kids don't necessarily know about that, or they're not aware of how much that provides, or should I say how little that sometimes provides. Kids are not wanting money thrown at them as a way to show that the other parent is present in their life. That's not what kids want. They want a parent that is present in their life, emotionally available, physically available, not a parent that just throws money into the system once a month and says, I'm a good dad because I pay child support, or I'm a good mum, whatever the situation is. That's not what kids want. And when kids start to see the other parent not being present, they start ticking. They start thinking, okay, they're not turning up for me. They're not showing up when I need them. So why should I just turn up and go to their house when they just want to put on a fake family and act all perfect Brady Bunch when I'm there every second weekend when they're not showing up for me? Now, I just want to also point out, this is not about putting your opinion onto the kids. This is not about you saying, you know what, your mum's a bitch or your dad's an asshole. They've done this, they've done this, they've done this. It's not about putting your opinion onto the kids. It's about leaving the kids to eventually realize they're not showing up, and they do. You don't need to tell them. Now, I will say, my daughter does know that her dad is not my most favorite person. He's not someone that's ever wanted to cooperate. But I've also made it extremely clear to my daughter that no matter what I think of him, that's got nothing to do with what you should think of him. He's your dad. You are allowed to love him. You're allowed to want to see him. You're allowed to spend as much time as you want with him. And I've never, ever denied her of that privilege. Because in all honesty, I would love that break. I would love having some more free time. And there was a lengthy period where I was forcing my daughter to go to her dad's house. Now, I will be honest, I was a little bit hesitant about how much I should share of my story, because even though I have shared bits and pieces, there's still probably a lot of it that I haven't. And the reason for that is, again, because I don't want it to be like the Leanne show. I don't want it to be about I'm playing victim, I'm playing poor me. I'm happy to share a lot more, but I just didn't want it to come across that way. So if you want to hear more about my story, and if you want to hear about all the darkness that I went through, which I haven't really shared, there's a lot of ugly places that I've been to in my breakup and in that process of leading up to the breakup that I haven't shared. And part of me is doing it because I also want to protect my daughter. Even though she doesn't listen to this podcast, she might hear little snippets here and there when I'm editing it. And I do remind her this is something I like to do in privacy. I encourage her not to be around me when I'm recording it. I encourage her to be in another part of the house, or quite often I'll do it when she's at school so she doesn't hear. And it's not like she needs to go and think, oh, I wonder what mum spoke about. It's not her thing. She's a young kid. She wants to listen to music and Spotify and all that and watch their tween age shows. She's not interested in what mum's doing and what I'm talking about. She doesn't want to hear these boring speeches. But I don't encourage her to listen, because every now and then I do mention things about her dad and I don't want her knowing the full story. And that's part of the reason why I haven't gone into full details of everything that I've been through, just as a way to protect her. But if you guys want to know, if you want to know my full story of what I went through, my whole breakup issue, how I got through it, all the dark days that I went through, I am more than happy to share that. So if that's something you want, let me hear from you. Shoot me a message on my Instagram page. Say, yeah, I'd love to hear your story. Let's do an episode on what happened and how you got through it and your whole breakup story. And I'm happy to talk about that. But anyway, I've digressed a little here. But as I was trying to say, I always encourage my daughter to have a relationship with her father. And it was at a point where I was forcing her to go every second weekend. And the tears and the drama and the fighting and the struggling that I had to put up with. And I'm not trying to, again, play victim. Oh, poor me, I had to deal with this. No, it's a side that he never had to see, but it was happening because of him. She was protesting going every fortnight. Didn't want to go. And I was, please, just go. Just keep the peace. I was encouraging her to go because I know that when she doesn't, in his eyes, it's my fault. In his eyes, I'm stopping her from going. And that didn't worry me. He can think of me what he wants. But part of me is thinking, I don't want to deal with his issues and his drama when she doesn't go. And then the other part of me is thinking, I just want her to have a happy family life. I want her to have a dad in her life. And I was encouraging it for that reason. I want him to be involved. But then one day it just clicked when she really fought with me and something happened where he just wasn't willing to step up for her. And that's when I just thought, why am I forcing this? Why am I forcing her to be involved in his life and he's not stepping up to be involved in her life? It's a one-way street when he's the parent and he should be leading by example. And this is what happens quite often when kids get to that age where they're like, no, I don't want to go anymore. And that's what's happened. It turns out that the parents are not stepping up. The parents are expecting the kid to be there for them, the kid to chase them, the kids to message them and say, hey, what's going on? They're the parent. It's up to them to be present. It's up to them to lead by example. It's up to them to show the kids that they want to be involved in their life, not the kids to be chasing them and saying, hey, am I coming there this weekend? Hey, when are you picking me up? It doesn't work like that. They are the kids. They should be left to be as kids, not left to make the adult plans because the adult's playing, poor me, you're not wanting to come to my house again. No. And then the flip side of that, when that does start to happen, good chance you will deal with a lot of revenge and a lot of anger and a lot of you being painted as the villain. You're the bad guy in this situation now because the kids aren't wanting to go, even though you've done everything there to make it work. You've done everything you can to make them be involved in the kids' lives, but they're not willing to listen. Now, I don't want to sit here and put titles on things because I've said in previous episodes, I don't like just titles. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. I like to focus on the situation as a whole and look at how we can make it work. But quite often when you're dealing with these kinds of situations where one parent refuses to step up, where one parent consistently plays poor me, where one parent consistently makes you out to be the bad person, it's always a tit for tat. It's always a competition. Who's done what? Who's done this? Who's done that? That is not cooperating. That is what we call narcissism, when they're constantly painting you as the victim. They're constantly playing the poor me card. It's all about just wanting to have control. It's all about constantly dangling a carrot. They will put their toes in and they will show a little bit of presence to make sure that they look like the great parent that they are. And then all of a sudden they'll disappear and then expect the kids to chase them. And you might be thinking, well, Leanne, just because they're not present in the kids' lives, it doesn't mean they're a narcissist. No, it doesn't. You're right. Just not being present in someone's life is not a trait of being a narcissist. What is a trait of being narcissist is the steps that that person is taking and the things and the actions that they're taking to not be involved in their life. Now, again, I should clarify this because you're right. Not everyone who does this is a narcissist. The ones who are not narcissists are the ones who just don't give a shit. They don't fight for anything. They don't care. They don't call you this. They don't call you that. They're just not involved. They're not narcissists. They're just shitheads who don't care. That's not narcissistic behavior. What is narcissistic behavior are those parents that play the game, that have a control tactic. It's all a power play with them. And narcissistic behavior is when they try and make you feel bad when you haven't done something wrong. So if the kids choose not to go to their house and then you explain that situation to them, but if their response is, well, it's your fault, why are you stopping me from seeing them? That's part of narcissistic behavior. They're gaslighting you when they know that they've done something wrong. Because I can tell you, I've done that on multiple occasions where my daughter has decided she didn't want to go. And I couldn't deal with the crying. I couldn't deal with the fighting. I said, listen, she wants a break this weekend. She's going to stay with me. And then I put in the message saying, maybe you need to sit down, have a talk to her, see what's going on and find out why she's not wanting to go there. I was doing everything I can to get him involved. The thing is, this is another sign of a narcissist. They don't want to cooperate. You can spill it out for them. You can extend as many olive branches as you want. You can write it out in black and white and put it in paper for them. Put it on as many messages as you can. They will not cooperate because cooperating means they lose power. And as crazy as that sounds, that's how a narcissistic person revolves. That's what their life is about, maintaining that level of power. But if they turn around and say to you, okay, you're right, the kids aren't wanting to come here because I didn't turn up to their school events, or because I did this, what can I do? How can I make this better? Should I sit down and have a talk to them? That's not narcissistic behavior. That's showing up. That's cooperation, and that's what you want. A narcissist does not cooperate. So if you do get a parent that turns around and says, okay, I fucked up, I should have been more involved, how do I make this better? That is a good sign. That is what you want. That is not a narcissist. A narcissist, and I don't want to keep saying this word. I think I might have to call it another word. But they are the ones who will not take accountability. And take, for example, in my situation, I have spelled it out in as many messages as I can, even actually writing in one specific message, I am on your side. I'm not fighting against you. I am on your side. I want her to go to your house, but she's refusing to go. So maybe it's time you sit down and have a talk to her and find out what is going on. I've even suggested having a talk in a neutral place, like in a coffee shop or somewhere open, where us three, me, him, and my daughter, can have a chat about why she's feeling uncomfortable and what's happening and how we can make it better for her. He's refused. And this is the issue. This is the point here. A healthy parent and someone that wanted to be involved would not refuse that. Their kids are priority. Okay, fuck, what can I do? Let's make this better. Let's sit down and organize this chat and do what we can do. That is healthy parenting. Sometimes we all make fuck ups. Sometimes we all do things that we turn around and regret. But if you keep digging that hole deeper by refusing to accept any help that's given to you, even though it's literally laid out for you, it's handed to you on a silver platter, what you need to do to be involved in the kid's life, but you are still refusing. And with that refusal, you're still turning around and blaming it on the other parent that they're stopping you from seeing the kids. That is narcissistic behavior right there, ladies and gentlemen. They know exactly it's their fault. They know exactly they're fucked up. But if they turn around and cooperate with you, then it makes them look like the bad person. Even though in most normal people's eyes, it looks like you're just making an effort to get along. But I know firsthand that if they turn around and say, okay, let's have a chat, let's make this work, it means that they're giving it into you. It means that they're giving you what they want. Even though it's not about giving you what you want, it's not about you and them, it's about the kids. But in their eyes, they just see that if they sit down and talk to you and talk to the kids, they're giving in to you. It's pathetic, isn't it? And it's really sad that that's their mentality. It's constantly about having that level of power over you. And they will not do that. I've even initiated mediation with my ex to try and see what we can do to make this work out a better arrangement with my daughter so she's happy to go there. But do you know what? He declined. Do you know why he declined? Because again, that shows that I've got some sort of power over the position of the situation, which is not about me having power. It's about me trying to find a way to make this work for my daughter. But he declined because I initiated it and it looked like I had power over that situation. And it's not about power. It's not about someone winning. And since then, he's come back to me and wanted to have a one-on-one chat, not with my daughter, with me. But it wasn't even about my daughter. It was about something else to do with her high school enrollment because I wanted him to sign the paperwork, which he has refused to do. And he said he wanted to talk to me. And I said, no, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to do it, just us two. I've tried to do mediation. I've tried to sit down with you and our daughter. You've refused that. We are not going to receive or achieve a positive outcome if we just sit down one-on-one. It's not going to achieve anything because I know his personality style. His personality style is not someone that's just going to turn around and say, yep, you're right, Leanne. Let's make this work. Me sitting down and having a one-on-one chat with him is just going to listen to ways that he can control the situation even more. It's him trying to find another way of trying to manipulate me even more. Now, again, I've probably gone off on a tangent and made this about my situation. But I want you to realize that when you're going through this, you can feel very alone and you can feel very crazy because they do. They make you feel crazy and they make you feel like you've done something wrong. Now, I want you to realize you have not done anything wrong. If you're doing the best you can for your kids to be involved in their life and they're not stepping up to the plate, it's a them problem. And you need to reach a point where you need to stop fighting their battles. It's not your job to make them step up and be the perfect parent. If they're not willing to take on that responsibility, then that's their loss. That's their issue. That's their problem to sort out. So if the kids are older and they are at an age where they're seeing these inconsistencies from the other parent, they're seeing the lack of involvement, the lack of interest in their life, and they're starting to think, I don't want to make an effort for this person who is not making an effort for me. The only thing you can do is you can, one, organize to have a chat with you, the other parent, and the kids. If they refuse that option, and the purpose of that chat is to work out what's going on, what the kids want to make them feel more comfortable, what the kids want to happen as a long-term goal. Do the kids want the other parent included? What do they want from the other parent to feel more accepted? That's the idea of that chat. And if the other parent declines that offer, then that's your answer. That is your answer. All you can do now is focus on you. If you want to go down the option of taking the process of mediation, go for that. If that might help in them stepping up and being a parent, being involved in the kid's life. But taking mediation for this purpose of them being involved in the kid's life, it's not about fighting. It's not about proving a point. It's not about being competitive. It's about, this is what the kids need from you. If you want the kids in your life, then this is what they need from you. That would be the purpose only of mediation, to get them on board, unless you've got other issues you need to work out. But really, it should just be focused around the kids. That's what you want it to be about. If they've declined mediation, they've declined having a chat, they've declined all avenues of them being involved in the kids' lives, then all you can do is leave it be. Stop fighting that battle. Stop fighting it. And the thing is, this is okay or a little bit easier to manage when the kids are older and the kids are able to make this decision. Now, I know when my daughter was a little bit younger, when she used to fight, I used to think, no, you're not old enough to make this decision. You're going to your father's. It's his weekend. Stop fighting it. You're going. And I always used to encourage it based on that. No, you're too young. You're going. It's not up to you. You don't decide. I decide. Your father decides. You're a kid in this situation. And that's how I used to treat it. It wasn't about me being nasty towards my daughter. It was about trying to have a bit of discipline as well, because I know when she's with me, it's just us two. I just have the one kid, the one child, the one daughter. And She knows how to milk it from mummy. She really does. She knows how to get what she wants. And I went to a phase where I thought maybe that she's just trying to get her way. Maybe she's just trying to milk me. Maybe she's just trying to control the situation. So that's why I kept forcing it. No, it's not up to you. You are too young to decide. But as she got older and she was still fighting it, I thought, why am I fighting against my daughter here? We are the ones that were fighting every Thursday night and every Friday afternoon because she'd go there on Friday nights. And so Thursday afternoon, we'd have the discussion. You're going to Dad's tomorrow. Make sure you pack your bag so it's ready after school on Friday. Pack your bags tonight. Have everything ready. And that's when the process would start of me having to deal with her fighting. I'm not going. I don't want to go this weekend. I don't want to go. And then eventually when I encouraged her to go, it'd be like, okay, well, can you pick me up Saturday morning? I don't want to go Friday night. Can you pick me up Saturday morning and I'll just stay the one night? And then he'd drop it back Sunday. And then Sunday morning come around, Mum, I don't want to go today. And then she'd push it back even later. And I kept fighting with her. I just kept going along, making it happen, even if it was just for the day. And the older she's getting, the less time she's wanting to go there. She's now not even wanting to stay overnight. She'll go for dinner every now and then. She's not even wanting to stay overnight. Now, I don't want to make this like, haha, I told you so, because that's not what this is about. It's really how sad it gets when you see the kids recognize this. And it's heartbreaking because you don't want your kids to see this. You don't want your kids to think that Dad's let me down. And that's why you fight it. That's why you keep pressuring the kids to go there, because you don't want the kids to feel let down. You don't want the kids to be heartbroken, but you know it's not changing anything. Forcing them to go there is, if anything, all it's doing is letting them see it's confirming what they already know. They're not being involved. They're not being present in their life just because they're there at their house. And that's why there's got to come a time where you realize, is this worth fighting? If they're not fighting to have them go to their house, if they're not fighting to see their own kids, why am I fighting here with my daughter? Why am I the one having to deal with this fight for days leading up to her going there and arguing and pressuring her to pack a bag and pressuring her to do this, to go to his house? And he's got no idea any of that is happening. He's got no idea. And even though I've mentioned it to him, that I've dealt with the fighting and I've dealt with her refusing to go, he thinks I'm lying. He thinks I'm making this up. And this is what happens when you're dealing with a narcissist in this kind of scenario who refuses to take accountability, and it's always going to be your fault. And if they want to blame you, do you know what? Just let them. Let them blame you. Because if you've done everything you can to get them to be involved in the kids' lives and the kids are at breaking point and they've had enough, then what more can you do? What more can you do? Now, if the kids are younger, this is a very different story. And I would say depending on how young. But if the kids are quite young and they're fighting going, and my daughter did do this when she was quite young. So for those of you who have been listening the whole time, do know that I've been co-parenting for about 11 years. Since just after my daughter's first birthday, we broke up and she's just turned 12. So I've been dealing with this for a few years now, to say the least. And when she was quite young, she did used to fight it back then as well. It's really been an ongoing process. But when they're younger, it is quite different. I don't believe they see the signs in the other parent that they would when they're starting to get older into their pre-tweens and teenage years. They don't see those things. All they see is maybe the toys that they get and the fun places they go to, and maybe they get to watch fun shows together and play their devices together. They don't know, they don't understand all the other stuff. They may, as they start to get older, they'll start to pick up things. They'll start to see when the other parent's not present and they're not doing stuff. That's when they'll start to realize. And when they're younger, if they're fighting it, that's when you got to realize that quite often when younger kids are fighting it, it's usually something different. It's not necessarily because they see the traits in the other parent that they don't like, because they're too young to realize that. Quite often when they're younger and they're fighting it, it's usually because they've got more of an attachment to the other parent and they don't want to let them go. It's a bonding thing. And if the primary carer is emotional and sad and feeling regret or feeling showing signs of sadness at handover time, then that affects the kids and the kids get sad. But when it comes to handover time, if you're okay, you're calm, there's no issues, and you're happy for them to go, and then you're excited to see them when it comes pickup time, that makes the process easier. So if the kids are fighting it when they're younger, it's not usually because they don't like the other parent, unless something serious is happening. If something serious is happening, very different story. And most definitely they should not be going there. But as long as you know definitely that if they're in signs of danger or something is happening, 100% take that on board. They should not be going. But if it's just crying because they don't want to leave the primary carer, then that is very different. And if the other parent, if you know, is being involved and is wanting to be involved and is doing what they can to see the kids, then that is very different. This episode is more so about parents not wanting to be involved and the kids seeing that and choosing not to go. So if the kids are younger and choosing not to go, quite often it's not because of something that the other parent is doing, unless it's something serious and it's a harmful or toxic situation, then that is very different. But when the other parent is wanting to step up, when the other parent is trying to be hands-on, when the other parent is trying to be involved, but the kids are fighting going, more often than not, it's got nothing to do with the other parent. It's just the kids are attached. The kids are finding the handover difficult because a lot of people forget that the kids have to process the breakup. Going between two homes as a child is a lot. And I know that. I went through that myself. And I used to fight going. I used to fight going to my dad's all the time when I was a kid because it's easier. I just want to stay at mum's. I don't want to do this. So I know what it's like to fight going to the other parent's house. And quite often you do fight that. There's nothing wrong with the other parent. They're not abusive. They're not nasty. They're not putting you in a horrible situation. But this is just your place of comfort. This is what you know. You like being with mum. You don't want to have to go back and forth between two homes and take that long drive there and that long drive back. It's a pain in the ass. So quite often when young kids are fighting it, that has a lot to do with it. So take into consideration when these decisions are being made, what is behind it? Is it because the other parent is not stepping up? So what I'm getting at here with this episode is not about the kids just choosing not to go. It's about the kids choosing not to go when they're seeing signs of the other parent not stepping up for them. That's what this episode's about. And I get it. A lot of people do force their kids to still go. And I did for a while. And I didn't because I was trying to harm my daughter. I didn't do it because I was trying to piss her off. I did it because I wanted my daughter to have that father figure in her life. I wanted her to have someone around who was a dad, who could be there for her. But then eventually you get to a point. It's like, why am I forcing this? Why am I forcing my daughter to go to his house when he's not doing anything for her? He's not showing up for her. He's not being there for her when she needs him. There's a day when she was in sick bay at school and the school asked him to come and pick her up because I was at work and he was off. He was at home and he declined. He declined picking her up and she knew that. She knew that he couldn't go pick her up. It's not that he couldn't. He wouldn't. And he sent me a text message to say, I'm not helping you out. Now, if that's not a sign of a narcissist, then tell me right now what is. He refused to pick up our daughter from sick bay at school when he was off work and I was stuck at work in meetings. And he refused to pick her up because he thought picking her up was helping me. This is what kids start to see. And this is why kids start to say, I'm not going there. They couldn't be there for me when I was sick. They couldn't even pick me up from sick bay. They don't turn up to my school events. They don't turn up to anything at school. They don't turn up to anything when I need them. No doctor's appointments, high school applications, high school interviews. They don't turn up to any of that, but yet they want me to go to their house. Now, it's not a matter of being petty. Oh, who cares what they turn up for? Who cares if they do this? The kids care. The kids care. That's what they want. And this is what I said at the start of the show. They don't know about child support. I mean, they may understand child support's being paid, but for them, that's not a parent being present in their life. That's a parent giving money financially to help out the other parent to provide for them because that's what it's for. That means nothing in their life, that child support money. Kids don't care about that. Kids want a parent that is there, that is present, that is available when they need them. And then when they get to that point where they wake up and go, hold on, Dad hasn't been here once for me when I've needed him. Mum, where is she? She's gone MIA. Where are they when I need them? That's what kids start to realize. And when they get to that point and the other parent refuses to cooperate, as heartbreaking as it is, there is nothing you can do when it comes to forcing them to be in their life. Because the more you force it, and depending on what kind of other parent, but if you're dealing with someone who's constantly making you out to be the villain, that's constantly blaming you for the kids not going there and blaming you for everything, then good chance you're dealing with a narcissist, and good chance that no matter how much you tell them, how much you encourage them, they're not going to cooperate with you because they don't want to cooperate with you. And even when it comes to their kids, and it's really sad, it really is, because their mentality, it's a personality disorder, and it's way they will raise, and it's who they are, and in their eyes it revolves around them. Everything that happens in their life revolves around them. And good chance he's probably thinking, well, why isn't she calling me? Why isn't she checking up on me? Why isn't she doing this? I'll tell you why. Because she's the kid. You should be doing that. You're the parent. And that's how these people expect, what do they expect from the kids? Because they're in this self-absorbed bubble that they expect everyone to rally around them and put them on this pedestal, even their younger kids. When they should be doing that for them. They should be showing up for them. They should be providing them what they need. But in their eyes, they want to be praised. They want to be recognized. They want to be seen as a position of power. And as pathetic and as sad as it is, when they cooperate with you, they're giving in and they're losing their power. And even though in your eyes, it's not about power. It's not about competition. It's about having another parent that's there for their kids. You're seeing your kids being let down. You're seeing your kids being heartbroken. I sent my ex a message when I submitted my daughter's high school enrollment form because he refused to sign the paperwork. And I sent him a message saying, this is a big day in her life. You should be involved in this because she had a full day at high school that day as well. You should be involved in what's going on. You should be asking questions. You should be asking if she's been accepted. You should be asking how she's going in the process, if she needs anything. You haven't asked once how she's going. And the response I got was telling me things that they paid for 7-8 years ago that they've done to be involved in her life. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're overshadowing everything I've done all these years. Second of all, you're her dad, so you should be. Third of all, I'm not asking what you've paid for. I'm asking you to be present in her process for high school, and you're not. And still, in response to this, you haven't asked any questions about her. You're making it about you. This, again, is the whole narcissist process. And the sad thing with that, after all this happening, he still has not sent her a message to say, hey, how's everything going with the high school? Or how did your day at high school go? Because she's currently in year 6 and she had a full day at high school just last week. One of those taster days, you know what they have. Hasn't checked in once. Because this is the thing. It's all about them and it's all about their image. And kids see this. This is another reason my daughter specifically is not wanting to go, because he's not showing any interest in her life. She's going through these big life-changing things and he's not once been present. He's not once asked her any questions. That is what kids want. And I spelled that out for him in a message saying, she needs you here. This is what she wants. Not getting nasty, not swearing, doing what I can to get him involved in her life. So hoping he would step up and go, okay, what can I do? Can I be there for her? That's all I was asking. Not asking for any money, not asking for anything from him, asking him to show up for her. And the response I got was him talking about what he paid for when she was in daycare. and she's now in year 6. Come on. I'm asking you to be there for your daughter, and you're making it about you and what you paid for 7 years ago or however long it was. And that is a prime example of why kids start losing interest in going to the other parent's house. And she's now choosing to give him or to match the level of energy that he's giving her. Really, what I'm getting at here with this episode is you can't force it. If the kids are seeing it and you're genuinely understanding the reason why, and that is a reason why because the other parent is not stepping up, then don't force it. Don't force it. If the other parent is giving you a hard time because of it, just leave it. Just leave it. And if they're being nasty, they're being abusive, they're being threatening, keep those messages. And you might keep thinking, but yeah, I want to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying because they might just step up. They might just change. Newsflash, if you've been doing it for years and you've been going through the same cycle, they're not going to change. And with my scenario, you might think, well, 11 years on, why are you still fighting it? I'm not fighting it. I didn't fight it. And I don't lose sleep over what's happening. That's him. That's who he is. The only thing is, it has been brought up again recently because I did make contact with him, hoping he would be involved in her school life and just want to sign the high school paperwork, which who would think that's a big ask? Who would think that's expecting too much of the other parent? Just, hey, when you pick her up next, can you sign the paperwork? Kids see when the other parent is not wanting to be involved in school. The sad thing to that is he didn't want to be involved because she's not been wanting to go there. So this is the whole tit for tat thing. So because my daughter's not been wanting to go, he's taking his revenge by saying, well, I'm not going to sign the paperwork. When really that's probably the best thing he could do. You're dealing with an ex, that makes it a competition. When you're dealing with an ex that's always got to one-up you, they've always got to prove they're right, you're wrong, you're the villain, it's not worth fighting. Just don't engage. And if you are struggling to deal with that, then I do coach single parents through this because, like I said, I know firsthand what it's like. I know what it's like to go through, and I know the mental stress and the pressure that you go through when you're dealing with this narcissistic manipulation. It fucks with your head. It really does. For me, now where I'm at, I just live my daily life every day, and it doesn't affect any part of my routine. If he's involved, great. If he's not, okay, I live my life. And that's how it is now. And that's where you need to be. If they're not stepping up, don't force it. If they're involved, then bonus for the kids and bonus for you, you get some free time. And that's why a lot of people do force it. I just want my free time. Go, please, take the kids. I need a break. And I get it. I need a break. I would love a break. But for some reason, he thinks I'm stopping her from going. No, I need a break. Please take her for a weekend. I need a break. I'm not stopping her. I promise you. But that's the image they want to portray. That's the image they want to send out. They don't want to take ownership of their faults. They don't want to take ownership of what's happened because it means they've done something wrong. And a narcissist will never, ever take accountability because a narcissist is never, ever wrong. They need to hold that position of power. So like I said, if you are dealing with someone like this, don't even bother trying. It is a lose-lose battle. And sadly, I understand why so many people try because you just want what's best for your kids. You want them to step up. You want them to be involved. They are not going to change. And this is a hard pill to swallow, but the only thing you can change is the way you handle this. What you do in the process. Are you going to keep fighting them? Are you going to keep getting the shits? Are you going to keep forcing your kids? Or are you just going to let it slide and go, you know what, I'm just going to live my life. I can't deal with this. I'm not dealing with their drama anymore. I'm not even with this person and I'm dealing with their drama. I'm fighting with the kids because of them. I'm pressuring them because of my ex. Why is this happening? While they're off in their beautiful fake family bubble, living their perfectly fake life, not having any idea of the drama that's being caused because of them. Why are you doing that? Don't do it. Don't let it get to you. And as I was saying, if you do need help getting through this, I would love to chat because this is what I do. I've been through it firsthand. I know what it's like and I know how to get through it where you don't have to lose sleep. You don't have to sit there and question yourself every night. Why? Why is this happening? Why? It's happening because you're engaging. It's happening because they're dangling a carrot and you keep taking that carrot. Stop. Let that carrot go. Let it be. Don't engage. And like I said, please reach out. I've got all my sessions available in the show notes. If you want to have a one-on-one chat, I have that question and answer chat where you can just ask me a few questions about where you're at and we can nut it out together and work out some answers with you. Or I have a one-on-one session, which is more of a deep dive session. We go into more serious stuff and we make it more like a coaching session, and we can do that over one session or we can do it over multiple sessions. So check those sessions out. They're all in the show notes. And like I said, I know what it's like. I've been through this narcissistic manipulation, and it's one that you don't want to keep fighting. It's a lose-lose battle. So if you're in a scenario like this with an ex, wave the white flag, because you're never going to win. You know, just giving up on them, just not engaging, that is you winning in your world. But really, at the end of the day, it's not about winning. It's not about competing. It's not about who's winning. Because in their eyes, they're always winning anyway. But that's not what it's about. It's about your kids, seeing them happy. And when you're constantly stressed about your ex and you're constantly worrying about them, you're constantly thinking about what they're doing. Oh, did they message you? Did they check in on you? Did they do this? It's only messing with you, and it's affecting the kids too. The kids don't want to see you in this headspace. The kids don't, even though you may not be starting fights, asking them questions about the other parent all the time, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. If they wanted to know, they'd come and ask you. They probably don't want to keep talking about it. Just leave it be. Don't let it phase you. All right? So please, as I said, if you want to chat, if you want to get through it, let's work together. I love to help you get through this, because I know what it's like to have those nights where you cry in bed and you just want to keep messaging them back. They keep messaging you with all these horrible things, and you just message them back and forth, and it's ending up in an endless text message battle that goes nowhere besides leaving you angry and pissed off and sad, and you're now in an emotional head fuck for the next 2 or 3 days because of what's just happened. Don't get out of it. Get out of it. Don't let that control you. Let go of that dangling carrot. You cannot get your peace and your happiness back while you're constantly letting them control your situation. And that's what it is. They're controlling that situation. Make it work without them. And that's a hard thing. You just think, but they're the other parent. They should be involved. And that's why you keep fighting it. They're the parent. They should be doing this. They're the other parent. They should be doing that. They're the other parent. They should be paying for this. As sad and as hard as it is, you've just got to learn to make do on your own. And if they show up, bonus, good for you. If they don't, then your life is not impacted. Your life is not affected because you've managed to do it on your own. You've managed to not have to rely on them. Because when you keep relying on them, you keep expecting something from them, you just get let down and the kids get let down. Stop relying on them to show up. Stop relying on them to be present. Stop relying on them to do things. And then you just get pissed off because they don't. And the kids get pissed off because they don't. Live your life like as if they're not there. Just live your normal life. And like I said, if they show up, bonus for the kids and bonus for you. And if they don't, then you're not affected because you're making do with your life. You've got it all set out. You're fine without them. That's how you need to be. And it is... There's a lot of things about dealing with narcissistic manipulation and co-parenting with a narcissist that a lot of people don't talk about. And it's a lot. It really messes with you mentally and emotionally. It is hard. It is not easy. So I do understand. And it can take years and years to get through it. So that's why I am here to talk to parents that are going through these situations, that are really finding it tough. And like I said, I am sorry if it was just a bit of a Leanne show, but it was more of a support and advice and me reminding, I get it. I know where you're at. This is the best path to take. All right. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you all for listening. And if you are loving the show, like I always say, feel free to give it a review, share your feedback, jump onto my Instagram page, follow me over there at lifeafterplusone, share any feedback, any questions, give me a follow, join in on any behind the scenes stuff that I do over there. And most importantly, don't forget to share it with your single parent friends. If you know anyone that's going through this, or you see someone talking about this situation, feel free to tag the show. Let them in, share this podcast with your single parent friends, and let's get it out there in the single parent community. So thank you everyone for coming back week after week. And don't forget, if there's an episode that you're dying to hear me speak about, then let me know. Let me know, because there's so many things I've got in the pipeline of what I talk about. But if there's something specific that you just want to hear, fuck yeah, I'm waiting for this episode, shoot it through on my Instagram page. I'd love to hear, and I do interact with everyone who messages me. So please feel free to message me there. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. So thank you all. Thank you all for being on board. And until next week, I'll be in your ears then. Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.